Good afternoon, everyone. So today we're at a Chevrolet, and it's a Trax LT VCDI all-wheel drive. So this says it's a Chevrolet, but you can see this is really a GM vehicle. So I believe this is a little diesel engine that's in this. It's a 1.7 diesel. Now the thing's got 160,000 miles on the clock, something like that. But its condition now is a crank, no start. So Roddy drove this up the road and it cut out, but we got it going again. And then when we got to the garage, back it came again. So just to prove it, foot on the clutch, oops, foot on the brake, and let's crank her over, nothing. And the engine management light is on. So I could not get my scan tool to communicate under manufacturers. It kept going between Daewoo, GM and Chevrolet. So we just went into generic OBD, and the codes that come up are a P00 Charlie 7, intake air pressure measurement system, multiple sensor correlation bank 1. Now that will not stop it from cranking. A P0107 manifold absolute pressure barometric pressure sensor low. That will not stop it from cranking, but this one may have. P0641 sensor reference voltage A circuit open. So the very fact that we see this code, I can communicate with the ECU, means it's more likely something internal within the ECU is the problem. And a P007C sensor correlation bank 1, so that's just a repeat of that one up there. Then a P0107 manifold absolute pressure sensor, that's the same as that one up there. These are just repeating. P0641 sensor reference voltage A circuit open, manifold absolute pressure sensor, sensor reference voltage A, and intake air pressure sensor. So here's my idea. How about we feed one of these sensors 5 volts, and you'll probably find that it feeds the rest of the sensors, and we may get this thing to crank. Don't know, it's worth a go. But let's see, can we go into read live data? So 30 of them, we'll select all. So cdti, so put a foot in the accelerator, there we go, it works. So the ECU is receiving an input. We can't test the airflow. Barometric pressure hits reading at the moment. Calculated load, EGR, command intake airflow 90%. Control module voltage 12.2, well that'll be about right. That roughly agrees with that figure up the top there. So that's not too bad. What else? Distance travelled, 23 miles. DC that required freeze data storage, was that one there. Engine coolant 70 degrees. Engine RPM, fuel level 10%. Fuel rail pressure, we can't crank it so we can't build pressure. Oxygen sensors, none of warm-ups. Oxygen sensor, don't know. So let's go back and let's clear these codes. See if it makes any hang of a difference to get this thing to crank. So there is the codes back up. So we'll go back and clear this. So clear fault codes. Yes. Yes. So let's read fault codes again. Just go generic. So these ones come back. So this one's permanent. Sensor reference voltage A circuit open. So all we can do is powers and grounds at the ECU. And then let's see if it cranks. Key off, key in the hand. Key back in. Oh, it cranks. So just through clearing the codes, the thing managed to start. So let's let it run, build up a bit battery and see if we can get a proper scan on this. So it is starting, but these are still permanent codes. So what we can do is we go back in, we can clear the fault codes. Yes, let's read fault codes again, go generic. So they're bing, 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 they're all there. Let's go back in and read the data again. Read live data. Select all. So it's cleared the DTCs. we have an input. Control voltage is 14 volts. That's good. Fuel level, plenty pressure, number of warm-ups. So everything's there. Let's go back to that manifold one. So intake manifold absolute pressure, now that was one of the codes. So you can see that is responding, but read fault codes, generic. They're still permanent. Let's try and clear them the last time. Yes. Yes, read fault codes. I cannot clear them. So let's turn her off and see if she cranks this time. Oh, there we go. That's a fix, Roddy. But starting all the time now, but so what we decided to do was check the top of the ECU. Do these tabs retract somehow? Finding it very difficult to get these tabs off. Never mind, a screwdriver and some WD-40 will do it. But look at this ECU. Some yellow paint down there. Now that's usually an indication it's came from a scrapyard. So, what are you saying, Lionel?
I'll move it.
I move it, aye. That's a bit wobbly, that, for no having been removed. I've removed the top, and it's all clean, isn't it? There's the pins light, clean. So you'd imagine these big guys here, that'll be our powers and grounds. And it's all clean. All clean. So I was thinking about this reference circuit. So it's either the reference circuit, there's a problem within the computer, it's no giving out the 5 volts, or sometimes you can get a sensor on that circuit that shorts it out. So that's always a possibility. But the easiest thing to do is if you can get another ECU and get that programmed up, but or start disconnecting the sensors and see, oh aye, maybe that's the one. Because I think this is the one it's complaining about, this manifold sensor. Disconnected this manifold pressure sensor. So I'm not sure if, probably measures the turbo as well. So we had 3 fault codes, and we've now got pending codes here. The intake air pressure measurement system. So that's one of the ones that we're complaining about. So we just thought we'd take a reading along this to see what we're getting. So you got that wee probe there, Roddy? I'm just going to run along this with our probe. The first one. And we're getting 0.9 volts. Then we're getting 4.9 volts, so you'd imagine that's our 5 volt ref. We need to get a pin out. Then we're getting 4.9 volts again. And the one at the end, that's a ground. So everything seems to be well there. Let's see if we can clear these codes. We'll go back. Clear fault memory. Yes. Read fault codes. Generic. So there's current. See, we've still got this reference voltage A circuit. That's the worry. So if we plug this guy back in, let's see what we're left with. You want to do that, Roddy? We'll come out. We'll clear the fault code memory. Do you want to clear, if it will clear the pressure? Engine off, key on, yes. Yes. Read fault codes, generic. So we're back down to 3 again. So, you'd imagine we were in the manifold absolute pressure circuit. In fact, let's see. Let's read live data. Select all. Barometer. You want to disconnect that again, Roddy? See if this does anything, my man. This is a paste, these connectors. That's got to be retracted back the way, and then this little tab's got to be pushed down. So she's disconnecting that. I'll watch that. 98, still reading 98. Intake, right, go and connect it again, Roddy. See if that changes for 255. It does. So that is working. Right, we need to study a wiring diagram. A bit flummoxed at the moment. So we managed to get into this through Vauxhall Mokka 2013 because this is the LUD engine code. So this is the codes that are coming up under that, but I was saying to Roddy, I would tend to believe that circuit code for the reference voltage rather than this. So in fact, if we just maybe, we'll go yes, let's see if it clears it. But they're still okay. Read faults. Fuel pressure regulation performance. But that would not stop it from starting. So let, just put no. So let's read data stream. And I'm sure there's one that says reference voltage 1, 2, 3, 4 in this. So select. So under the manufacturer's data, which I don't like it on this tool, I managed to clear the life expectancy of the oil. So we just done an oil reset. So we're left with this P0089. But that would not stop it from cranking. I'm pretty sure of that. And the very fact that OBD we still have that reference codes for the VREF. Here's something that's interesting under data streams. Now it's showing 5 volt reference 1 and 2, 232 counts. So I thought there was usually a voltage there. ECT minus 40 degrees. That's like it's disconnected. Let's start her up, see if these change. They have not changed. So that's 232 counts faults, I don't know. ECT still at minus 40 degrees. Where did I go to get that? There isn't any engine data, let's just have a look. But let's look at this fuel pressure, since that's what it's complaining about. Off, barrel desired. So there's the ECT, 72 degrees. Fuel injection mode normal. Fuel rail pressure regulation command 40%, that would be normal. VIN counts, program counter 1 count, nothing there we want. So we're back again, we had our lunch, we had bacon and lentil soup, which was rather lovely I must add. So well done to my wife. Anyway, so we've put on the hotel, and HIT's identified it under GM as a Chevrolet Trax. So we're going to report, so we've got 6 codes this time. So here we go, rail pressure regulator performance, manifold absolute pressure sensor circuit low voltage, fuel temperature sensor circuit high voltage, AC refrigerant sensor circuit low voltage, brake booster pressure sensor circuit low voltage, and here we go, 5 volt reference 1 circuit malfunction. So this is a biggie I'm saying, a P0641. And I came back to it and it will not crank. So let's try it again. Just jump in it. So pedal to the floor, no crank. So if I then, this is a worry. That's still that 89 performance. So I'm wondering what one's stopping it for cranking. Brake booster pressure sensor, don't know. So let's see what other codes are in it. This is under electronic brake control module, engine control module, indicated traction control malfunction, instrument cluster, control media, power circuit low voltage, control power high voltage, body control, hood ajar circuit, that's because it's open. So let's put on my little jumper pack and try cranking it again. Key off, still no any difference. So let's go back and let's clear the codes. So quick erase. Let's come back, so we'll go back into that. Let's see if we can erase them first. So this is a manual. Just put not equipped, I don't know if it's got it or not. Not equipped. Trouble codes. So it's a fuel pressure regulator and fuel temperature sensor circuit high voltage. So it can't clear that. That probably can clear if we done an adaptation. But fuel temperature sensor circuit high voltage, that'll probably be on the rail, I would imagine. So we've cleared the codes. Key off, key out, key back in. Now it starts. So it's a chicken and egg. Who's causing her not to start? One of the codes is blocking it and causing it not to start. So let's come again. Trouble codes again. So there, that's high. But none of the two would cause it not to start. Now, I'm looking at this and it's starting every time now, which is a pace. But what I thought we could monitor, it's ignition signal 1 active and the power mode it said run and the relay command for the starter. So if I put the key off, so you can see it's an active, off, off, off. Brake pedal is released. Sorry, brake pedal on. Right, so let's crank it. Hopefully this will do it normally. So that's the key on, so we'll go to cranker. Crank request, run, released. But I cannot find the 5-volt reference circuit within this scan tool. We're getting a bit of this and a bit of that. You can see it's charging okay. So after 5 minutes of idling, it still keeps these codes. Fuel temperature sensor circuit high voltage. So let's see if that'll clear. So clear DTCs. Yes. Okay. So it's cleared the high voltage, so we're back to the fuel pressure regulation. Starting every time. So let's escape that. Trouble codes. Right, let's give it a run, see what the performance is like. Now that was weird. I was just driving out the garage and the thing cut out, then it started itself. And I wasn't even aware it had start stop on this thing. Can you see? No sure. So, and it never came up with any other codes, it's just that fuel pressure regulation. So I've just gave this a quick 5-minute drive down the road. It's absolutely gutless. So is it fuel pressure? Is it DPF? I don't know. There's no any additional codes. So what I was going to do was do the special function and do the pressure regulator learn. So just do that. This will not do any harm. See if we can get a bit more power. Right, continue. Start engine, allow it to idle. So we'll continue it. So it says please wait. This wee little line's going up. turn the engine off, turn the ignition off, continue. Please wait, it says. And this sets a datum point for it, especially for the fuel pressure regulator and that pressure control regulator. Fuel pressure sensor, sorry. Turn the ignition on. High pressure pump learning is successful, so hit continue. So you can see it's idling up a little bit. We've got the DPF light on. So let's see what trouble codes we have now. So history, so it's waved into history, and now have so it's actually needing a good DPF clean out. Clear DTCs, yes, okay. So there's no codes. Let's take her a run. See, the DPF light is on. Let's see if we get our power back. Power has returned, right? So we're away now. So we need to keep driving to get this DPF to clean out. But that's not the original problem. What is the original problem? Let's keep driving her. So another 5 minutes running, it comes back with fuel temperature sensor circuit high voltage. So we need to find out where that is. And the very fact this has a lack of diesel in it, it will not perform a regen. So let's just have a look, see what the regen figures are like. Exhaust after treatment. So it's getting its temperature up. The DPF's not bad. And it will take it to 3000 RPM. Then let's take it up a bit. That's our sitting at 3K. And the pressure is 9 kilopascals. That's not bad, 1.3 psi. Nothing in that really. Let's keep driving, see what comes up. We're now on our third machine, so we managed to clear that code with the snap-on machine. I'll just show you what this car identifies. We've put it under Opel Vauxhall Mokka, and this is a 1.7 LUD engine. So we can go into data. Let's see if this has got the 5 volt. We'll need to go through these menus again, man. This is driving us insane. Now I've gave this a little drive in the country here, and it's going fine. And that 5 volt reference code's never recurred. So no codes have actually recurred. So I'm monitoring the fuel rail pressure and the desired and what the fuel rail voltage is at the sensor and the regulating control valve. So they all seem to be spot on at the moment. So I don't know where we're going to go with this one. Just probably need to let it go and see what comes back. So we're just sitting here idling and it cut out and it came up with this P0641 5 volt reference 1 circuit malfunction. And we're just looking under, we'll go into data stream, and we're looking under, was it this combustion data? And there's 2 up there, because this is only scanned till it's got 5 volt reference written on it, and 232 counts. So if we then go, read fault codes, if we try to start her, I'm sure she'll no start. See, look. That's foot in the clutch, nothing, right? I wonder if there's any, no. Let's put the snap-on back on it, see what it says. So we put the snap-on tool on it, and you can see it's a P0641 5V reference 1 circuit current, and it's in history. So sometimes it gives you freeze frame data on this. Let's see if it does that. So we're going to this here. So what's it saying? Pressure, distance, coolant speed, signal 1 active, air temperature 27, run, idle speed, fuel rail pressure. So when that occurred, the engine was running. I'm sure you'll agree with that, because the engine speed was at 824, and then it just cut out when it lost its 5V reference. So we're going to use just a little one. So we'll come into this. We'll go diagnostic, OK, status, and then we'll go hit the back button, read codes, store codes, reference circuit, voltage A circuit, so we agree with that, pending codes, same again, and permanent codes, nothing. So we'll come out of that, we'll try and crank the car, nothing, key off, try and crank it again, no. So, noise. So we then go in and erase the codes. Erase codes, OK. We'll say OK. DCCs have been erased. We'll then read the codes, store codes, gone. Pending codes, gone. So cycle the key, and she starts. ECU all day, surely. We'll keep that's it. We'll keep you updated. We're no sure. It's Friday afternoon. They need it for tomorrow, so this is a get you home fix. We went on to ecutesting.com, and you can see we've just typed in common problems, but we put under the Astra J and the Mokka. So it says Vauxhall Mokka Astra J starting problems caused by faulty engine ECU. That's what we said right at the very beginning. But we went round in circles again, but that's what we do. We like that, Roddy, didn't we? Got nothing else today. Common complete non-start of Vauxhall Mokka Astra J models is often attributed to a faulty engine management ECU. This Delco GM is fitted to various GM 1.7 cdtis, which we have, engine across the multiple models, and a common failure due to internal component malfunctions. We agree. Failure of this ECU will cause intermittent and permanent symptoms such as causing the engine to begin to cut out, correct, and failure to restart on turn-off ignition, correct. The range of faults may be stored for reference voltage problems, correct, and codes relating to the ignition relay circuit issues, not for us. Failure of this Mokka and Astra ECU will also cause permanent no start of the vehicle, correct, and the engine ECU may not achieve communication with the diagnostic scanners at this point. Well, we've not got that. Rather than purchasing an expensive replacement ECU, which will require coding using main dealership level diagnostics, which is true, we offer an alternative. They will rebuild it. Well, test it and rebuild. So I think that's the route we will recommend to the customer, and I'll keep you updated. Sorry, here we go. The failure is cutting out and will not restart. Complete non-start, no communication with engine ECU. Roddy reminded me that first time when we went to this, it would not communicate. There we go. Our code is a P0641 sensor reference voltage A circuit malfunction. That's the one we're getting. Reduced engine power. We didn't actually get that, but the rest we have. But that is where we're going. Where we go there, Rod? Aye, Vauxhall Mokka. Aye, but ours is a Chevrolet, but that's the same, isn't it? It's exactly the same.